We all have our demons. Mine is in the form of an unread manga pile. Yeah, it's a monster. A monster I have to conquer. I challenge myself to read as much manga as I can in 30 days. Now, like most of you, I don't have much time in my day. I work a 40-hour week. I commute to work 10 hours per week. I eat, I sleep, engage in boring household chores, occasionally watch cool YouTube videos, and hang out with my lovely girlfriend, which only leaves me with about 1 or 2 hours a day to read manga. So this journey will be a challenging one. In order to succeed, I will need to build my stamina with rigorous training. Master, I need you to teach me the art of giggity. Giggity, giggity. I need plenty of good sustenance, manage my rest accordingly, and risk the danger that my eyeballs could explode in the process. So as I train, giggity, 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 and rest, I should be able to put a dent in my unread pile of manga. So welcome back, my fellow comic book friends, and let's see how much of my manga I can tackle in the next 30 days. So let's kick it. So welcome to day 1. With me today I have Goku Rakugai Volume 2 and I have Origin Volume 5. I will do my best to give you a brief introduction of all of the manga I experience in my 30-day challenge. I know not everybody is a manga expert. In fact, myself, I'm pretty much a huge manga noob. Goku Rakugai is a stylish and action-packed manga by Yuto Sano that blends supernatural elements with crime noir. Set in a gritty urban district where humans and non-humans coexist. The story follows Tao and Alma, problem-solving troubleshooters, who take on dangerous jobs for the right price. So this character on the front cover here, she sort of looks like a blend between a samurai and Barbie. She looks freaking cool. The manga stands out with its slick and detailed artwork, dynamic fight scenes, and well-paced storytelling. Tao's cool-headed demeanor contrasts well with Alma's fiery personality, making their duo engaging. The world building is intriguing with a mix of mystery, crime, and supernatural forces lurking beneath the surface. So I finished the manga, and this chick on the cover here, her name is Nei. She's introduced in this volume, and man oh man, I love her. She is a perfectionist and a master at dispatching monsters. But what's interesting is how her motivation is based on praise. So she seems to always demand that people praise her for her good work. It's quite endearing. Come to think of it, I love all the characters in this. I find each one brings something unique to the table. If you enjoy urban fantasy with high stakes action and a touch of noir aesthetics, definitely worth checking out. I gotta say something though, for a 200-page manga, there really is about 110 pages worth of story. The rest is a bonus story, which I enjoyed far more than I thought I would. Then there is the original pitch for the first chapter, which is cool and all, but it's just a shame that there's so little original content. But I think I know why that is the case, because the artwork in here is so detailed, so fleshed out. Every panel has high quality in it. I think it's beautiful, and therefore I think it takes a long time to piece together, and I respect that. Origin by Boichi is a thrilling sci-fi action manga set in a futuristic Tokyo where AI and humans coexist. The story follows Origin, a highly advanced artificial being who operates in secret, eliminating rogue robots that threaten humanity while questioning his own existence. Boichi's signature art style is on full display here. It's crisp, hyper-detailed, and incredibly dynamic, especially in the fight sequences. The cyberpunk setting is immersive, and the philosophical themes about identity, evolution, and what it means to be alive add depth to the high-octane action. If you're a fan of Blam or Ghost in the Shell, Origin is a must-read. You know what? I think this is a strong start for this 30-day challenge. So vampires are pretty cool, just maybe not the sparkly ones. With me today, I have Hellsing Volume 2, the Deluxe Edition. Hellsing by Kota Hirano is a stylish, action-packed vampire manga that delivers intense battles, over-the-top characters, and a dark, gothic atmosphere. The story follows Alucard, a powerful vampire serving the Hellsing organization, as he fights against ghouls, Nazi remnants, and other supernatural threats. Question for you guys today is, what is your favorite vampire movie? Mine would have to be Daybreakers. I wonder though, how good was it really? Google IMDb, please. I got a 6.4. I guess that's okay. I mostly enjoyed that movie for its setting and its spooky vibes, and I think it's got a really cool dystopian premise. So I'm just reading the synopsis here and realizing that the movie takes place in 2019. A plague has transformed almost every human into vampires. Faced with a dwindling blood supply, the fractured dominant race plots their survival. It sort of reminds you of the Cough Cough saga that we had during that year. I feel like the director is Nostradamus. So the artwork in Hellsing, it is bold, it is dynamic, with exaggerated action sequences and a distinct chaotic energy. Alucard is an unforgettable protagonist, unstoppable, sadistic, and dripping with charisma. The series blends horror, dark humor, and extreme violence, making it a thrilling ride from start to finish. If you enjoy supernatural action and a dose of insanity and a badass lead, then maybe Hellsing is the manga for you. This was a breeze to get through today. I feel like the last volume will be a breeze as well, which will be sad because the series will be complete. Come to think of it, that will be the very first manga that I will complete in its entirety. That's exciting. Berserk Deluxe Edition Volume 5. This lovely piece of work by Kentaro Miura is a dark fantasy masterpiece that follows Guts, a lone mercenary with a tragic past, as he battles demons, fate, and his own inner struggles. The story is brutal and emotionally gripping, with deep themes of ambition, betrayal, and perseverance. Now, I'm already a few chapters in, and oh my god. Yeah, this stuff is dark and disturbing. And I love it. Miura's artwork is breathtaking, with incredibly detailed battle scenes and haunting imagery that bring the world of Berserk to life. The character development, especially Guts and Griffith's complex relationship, is one of the strongest aspects of the series. Now, if you love epic storytelling, intense action, and rich world building, Berserk is a must-read. It truly is one of the greatest manga of all time. But I should say this though, maybe it's not the best manga to introduce people to manga, unless you're as disturbed as I am. Dandadan Volume 4, and it has my favorite lady on the cover here. Her name is Seiko, and she's gotta be the hottest grandma in the world. I'm sure you would have heard about Dandadan by now, but just in case you're watching this video in the year 3000,
super cool.
Dandadan is a wild, high-energy mix of supernatural battles, aliens, and ghostly chaos, all wrapped in stunningly dynamic art, with sharp humor and breakneck pacing. It delivers an unpredictable ride filled with heart and absurdity. If you love Chainsaw Man or Jujutsu Kaisen, this is a must-read. Which reminds me, I'd like to read Jujutsu Kaisen, as I don't own any. I'm impressed with this manga, 4 volumes in, and the art continues to be a standout. There's this new character in here called Aira Shiratori that gets fleshed out a little bit more. She's also in here on one of these colorful pages, which is another thing that I love about these volumes. They just feel a little bit more premium, and I think I know why. Viz is giving this title a little bit more love and attention because of how popular it is. There's also this guy called Gigi that gets introduced in here, and I gotta say, each new character introduction feels meaningful here. I genuinely get hyped and excited to get to know each of these new characters that get introduced in this world, and I'm starting to get a good idea why this manga took the world by storm. Giggity giggity! One Punch Man Volume 4, and this is the last one in my collection. I think it's up to volume 30 now? One Punch Man is a masterful blend of satire, action, and jaw-dropping art. Saitama's effortless victories make for hilarious yet thought-provoking storytelling, while the stunning fights and diverse cast keep things fresh. This is a must-read for superhero and comedy fans alike. One Punch Man continues to make me smile, and sometimes laugh with its goofy antics, but also the action is mega hype in here. It's another day of manga. Welcome to day, I want to say 5. Alright, we got Naruto today, specifically volume 11. Check it. For those that don't know, this is my first time reading Naruto. I did watch the anime about 60% through, about 15 years ago. It was fantastic. So you can imagine the level of nostalgia. It's through the roof. Naruto is a classic shonen manga by Masashi, is it Masashi? Yeah, by Masashi Kishimoto that follows Naruto Uzumaki, a mischievous but determined ninja aiming to become Hokage, the leader of his village. Pervy sage, he's definitely my role model. The series blends action, emotional storytelling, and deep character development, with intense battles, strong friendships, and themes of perseverance. The theme of perseverance, that's what I love about Naruto, is this sort of charm that got me hooked. Now, speaking of hooked, I'm definitely getting hooked on Dandadan. Wait, oh, hold on Dandadan, ta-da, Volume 5. Okay, having just finished this, I think this is the best volume so far. It has proven to me that the mangaka is not just skilled in the art department, but also in the creativity department. There were some creepy elements and some moments that had me glued to the pages, due to the mystery surrounding this arc. Look, all the silly stuff aside, which is fun, I think the character development is where it's at, and it's becoming quite compelling. So the broski on the cover here, his name is Gigi. He's a character that's a bit of a jock slash nerdy, but also the kind of character that I think he could be friends with just about anybody. This is the turning point for me where I am falling in love with the manga, and I could see it going for a long time. This could be one of the greats of this era. Yeah, this is peak Shonen Jump right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below what you are loving about Shonen Jump right now, if you're watching it in 2025. Unless it's the year 3000.
Super cool.
Where feel free to comment as well. Curious to know what kind of manga is around then. But then again, I probably won't be around. So yeah, there's that. So this is the Fable Omnibus, Volume 2! Ta-da! This one's a chunky one. So the first volume of the Fable made me laugh out loud. It was the first manga to do that. But to be honest, I haven't read much manga up until that point, so maybe that's not a fair assessment, but anyway, it was funny. So what is the Fable about? It's about a hitman who is laying low, trying not to be a hitman. That's the premise. Okay, it's a bit more than that, but it plays out as this slice of life story, where our legendary hitman, also known as Fable, is laying low for a while because he killed way too many people. Its sharp storytelling, dynamic action, and quirky humor make it a standout in the seinen genre. With well-developed characters and stunning artwork, it balances intense moments with absurd yet clever humor. A must-read for fans of crime drama with a unique twist. I never thought I would enjoy reading about a hitman that's sitting naked in his home, being enthralled by watching a silly drama TV show like Days of Our Lives but Japanese edition. This is peak manga. Also, why is he naked at home? It's time for some more Dandadan, Volume 6. I'm at this point where it's getting super spicy in the manga right now. Alright, the whole volume was freaking awesome. It was non-stop action. Just wow. Wow. Good morning, everybody. It is breakfast time here in beautiful Perth, Australia. I got myself this. This here is a beef pie. So we like to put our animals inside our pies here in Australia and New Zealand. I know it's a bit different in America. You guys are more about your fruit pies, which is awesome. But I swear, you're missing out. Meat pies are absolutely the bomb. Also, some people like to have sauce with their meat pies. Usually I don't, but maybe I will on this occasion. Some people have barbecue sauce. Some people have tomato sauce. We also have different things in our pies, like cheese and onion and stuff. Now, if there's any vegetarians out there, I apologize. I know it doesn't look appetizing, but it's delicious. Alright, my bros, it's been a big day. I'm feeling pretty exhausted, but the day is not over yet because I have to read some manga. So I've got volume 12 and 13 of Naruto this evening. But before I do that, I gotta go pick up some dinner. From your perspective, this day is very food orientated. I promise, I've done more than just eat today. Dinner has been secured. I've got my Cascade ginger beer. Ooh yeah. I'm looking forward to this because it's been a super hot, crazy day. Right, so for dinner, I went to a place called 8 Napkins. It's a nice burger joint. Some hand-cut chips. Nice because they actually gave us napkins. And this is their signature burger. You know, just your run-of-the-mill burger. We've got your beef, cheese, lettuce, gherkin, tomato, caramelized onion, and what they call is their special N8 sauce. Whatever that is. Yeah, that hits the spot. You know, this is actually really good ginger beer. Cascade, if you're watching this, I could use a sponsor. A wink wink. Alright, enough about the food. It is time for some Naruto. Let's kick it. know what? This is the turning point when I am hooked on Naruto. This is the moment where I am just... I need to keep reading. I feel that the next week or so is just gonna be dedicated to me smashing out Naruto. I'm just loving it so much right now. And I was right. The days were passing me by as I got to experience the magic of Naruto once more. Seeing the likes of Shikamaru, Kankuro, and Orochimaru flooded me with nostalgia once more and reminded me how unique the characters of Naruto are. Day after day, I got stuck into a couple more volumes, and I loved seeing how determined Naruto could be. So I'm 16 volumes deep, and the key antagonists are finally being introduced. And holy hell is it a great introduction. I couldn't imagine a better way to do this. It's a testament of how epic in scope the story of Naruto is. Guys, just for a moment, can we all agree that Tsunade is one of the coolest ninjas out there? Okay, not just because she is smoking hot. I mean, there's that, but she's way more than that. Alright, so where I'm up to with Naruto being volume 19, I think it's a good time for a break, especially where the story's at now. So, it's time to turn to something new, that being Trigun, the deluxe edition. Look at this, it looks fancy as hell. Let's give this a crack. Trigun is a story about Vash the Stampede, who is the most infamous outlaw on the planet Gunsmoke, and with a $60 billion double dollar price on his head, he is the most sought after. You know what? It quickly dawned on me. I don't like this art style. Half the time, I can't tell what's going on, but I'll persevere. I mean, don't get me wrong, some panels are unique and cool to look at, but overall, the story can be hard to follow, especially with the action sequences. So because I've been struggling a little bit, I'll finish the second half tomorrow. The second half of Trigun proved to be a bit more exhilarating. At first glance, Trigun seems like a goofy action series, with Vash's exaggerated expressions and slapstick antics. However, as the story progresses, it delves into heavier themes of morality, redemption, and the struggle between violence and peace. The art is dynamic, though at times chaotic, fitting the series' fast-paced action and emotional intensity. Despite me enjoying the second half of Trigun a lot more than the first, I'm not completely sold on it, and for me it comes down to the art. So I think it's time to come back to some more Naruto. As I continue my reading journey with Naruto, I remembered how I used to love watching the anime in my teenage years. I used to eat 2-minute noodles watching the show, pretending like I was eating ramen with Naruto, only to find out much later in life what real ramen is, and being blown away by how amazing it is. Now I understand why Naruto loved ramen so much. As I get closer to completing my first Naruto box set, I witness Sasuke pushing himself further down his path of vengeance, Naruto continuing to grow into a competent ninja, and others like Neji and Kiba holding their own against various adversaries. Reading through the volumes, I noticed the villains appear more sinister from one to the next. I also find myself appreciating the flashbacks, especially when it comes to Sasuke's brother Itachi, adding layers to this already rich world of Naruto. These last 2 volumes of Naruto in the first box set are some of the most emotionally charged and pivotal volumes in the series. The fighting is beautifully paced, and as the arc comes to a close, it seems to set the stage for the next phase of the story. And there we have it. I actually completed my first box set. No, wait, I lie. That would have been the Chainsaw Man box set. But this, on the other hand, is a much larger box set, so I consider this to be quite the achievement. Having read Chainsaw Man as my first box set, I feel like that set a really high bar. Now, as tempted as I am to get started on box set number 2, I think I should mix it up a little bit. But then again, I really want to read some more Naruto. Just a sneak peek though, right? Just a sneak peek. Oh man, so many nice volumes. Can't wait. Maybe on the next video though. Grainwaves. Yum. As I'm waiting for my dinner to finish cooking itself, just over there, I'm thinking about a new manga to read. Okay, I think we can agree robots are super cool.
I am super cool.
As long as they're not killing us. So this next manga is about that, robots. But except in this manga, most of the people are dead. There's like one living human being. So yeah, this is Heart Gear. I very much enjoyed the first couple of volumes, and there's only 4 volumes out right now. I think the 5th one is coming out very soon. So what is Heart Gear about? Well, it's basically about the last human being, that being Ro, this girl over here looking all chirpy and happy, and about her adventures traveling through the world, trying to bring her uncle, who's also a robot, back to a functioning capacity. You see, she is carrying his hard drive, and she's also accompanied by this other super duper cool robot, this guy here over here. His name is Chrome. Let's have a little focus right there. Yep, so they're going on an adventure together through this dystopian landscape and discovering a lot of things along the way. Okay, these were fantastic. Absolutely enjoyed these, and I look forward to finishing this series eventually as it comes out. It only has a few more volumes left. I believe it finishes at volume 7, which makes me a little sad. I get the impression from reading this that the world is just so big and rich, and that the story has a lot to offer, and that it's gonna go for a long time. But apparently that's not the case, so I'll see how this wraps up. So far, it is awesome. It's got the right blend of being chill, having action, including a level of philosophy that I didn't expect. It's good fun, robots, and you know, the odd robot giggity. Giggity, giggity, giggity. Alright broskis, I am ready for some more robots, and by robots I'm talking about Pluto by Naoki Urasawa. Well, apparently there is some sort of robot action in here, and I'm excited because this Urasawa guy is meant to be one hell of a legend. On the back of the manga, it says Urasawa is a national treasure in Japan. So no pressure, Mr. Urasawa, but I'm looking forward to you razzling and dazzling me. And it's got this nice premium feel about it too, so it looks like they've done the manga some justice. Also, I'm super duper stinky because I came back from the gym. Which is something I should have mentioned at the start of the video, because the gym takes up some of my manga reading time. Question for you guys, if you're hitting the weights, let me know in the comments below, and well done. You're apparently extending your life longevity, unless you drop the weights on your head. Please don't do that. But anyway, I'm looking forward to diving into this. I need to take a shower, have some dinner, and it's time to read something about, whatever this is about. Robots, apparently. Alright, so I am sold on this. I can tell that the writer and artist is extremely competent at what he does. This was a captivating story from the beginning to the end, and it is about a detective who is a robot who is trying to uncover some killings that are happening of famous and powerful robots, but also a human death involved in there as well. I feel like this is told in the style of a really good movie, you know, like a Blade Runner meets Seven. That's the kind of vibes that I get from this. I need the rest of the volumes. This is the only volume that I've got, and first volume got me hooked. You can just tell this is a good writer, and the style of the storytelling, but also how captivating the interactions are. And I get the impression that the mangaka is obsessed with Germany/German culture. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's time for blood. And by that I mean it's time for the 3rd volume of Hellsing, the Deluxe Edition. And also the very final one, which means if I finish this, it will be the very first manga that I complete from start to the end. Exciting times, so let's check it. So I finished it. I finished Hellsing, and my very first manga. Was the ending perfect? No, but it was decent. But it did make me realize something, that perhaps we shouldn't be completely judging a story by the ending alone. You see, it's sort of like life, you know, the journey is more important than the destination. And I think to some extent that is applicable to stories too. A lot of them have great beginnings and amazing middles, but sort of falter at the end. So I think it's unfair to make an assessment and to say that the story is terrible just because it doesn't nail the ending. Let me know about a manga that you found the beginning and the middle was amazing, but the ending wasn't so great, and you were okay with that. My broskies, today I am very angry. Not at you guys are amazing. I'm angry because I had an incident on the road. Well, I wasn't the problem. the other driver was. Not only did he endanger my life, he broke the rules, but he also insulted me doing that. Road rage. It sucks, especially here in Australia. I find in Australia there is a lot of bad drivers. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of bad drivers in Australia. When I think of good drivers, I think Japan, Germany, a lot of places in Europe, just not Australia. Oh god guys, I feel like driver licenses are handed out in cereal boxes over here. I want to hear from you. How bad are the drivers where you live? Let me know what country you are from and how bad those drivers are. And speaking of the theme of driving today, I think it's only applicable that I read Initial D. I just came back from the gym. In fact, I was so angry I had to work off the anger. Speaking of Japan driving, this is gonna be good driving, right? Initial D, Volume 2 by Shuichi Shigeno. Let's do it. The driving in here and the cars are simply amazing. I'm up to chapter 32 now, I'm halfway there. Although I feel like the formula is a bit repetitive and a lot of the characters are starting to look a little bit the same now, you know, because of the kind of art style that's being used in here. When it comes to the cars though, they are so gorgeous and you can easily differentiate them from one to the next. And I feel like they are the star of the show. You know, it's a lot of, let's hang out at the gas station and chat about cars, let's go up a hill and do some mad drifting, which they do. They do lots of awesome drifting down the hill, but I hope they mix it up a bit. Today I'm feeling super zen, super calm, super relaxed, and that's because in all seriousness, nothing makes you feel better than a cookie. Hey, you can have one as long as you don't eat it like the Cookie Monster. I'm a big fan of chocolate chip cookies. What about you guys? What's your favorite cookie? If you have a favorite cookie. Now back to Initial D. This is pretty great, but it's a bit of a slow burn, which is a funny thing to say about a racing manga. But I do have one problem, and that's not with the story, but it's with the format of these omnibuses. I feel that Initial D does deserve a nicer format, like a deluxe edition, or maybe bring back the single tankobons. But the funny thing is that these omnibuses, the Fable, they just feel a lot nicer, a little bit more premium. And I think the difference is the extra 50 pages does feel like the omnibus is going to start falling apart and maybe not stand the test of time. So 450 pages, 400 pages, I think that's the sweet spot when it comes to an omnibus. Anyway, Initial D is dope, but I think the type of format that it's being released in is kind of ruining it for me, and it will make me stop collecting these until I see the deluxe edition. Kodansha, make it happen. Alright my bros, it is late and I'm feeling a little bit tired. I need something that's going to juice me up. Juice me up? Hype me up. Something short too. And I think I've got just the thing. Ta-da! That's right, I'm going back to Dandadan. This is volume 7 and it's still nicely sealed. So crispy. Ooh, straight from Japan. It even has a Japanese sticker. Oh, nostalgia. Anyway, it's time to crack this bad boy open. Kids, don't try this at home. This is how I like to open up my sealed comic books. Just be careful. This was an excellent choice. I had so much fun with this. There's so many genres at play in here and it all seems to work really well. It's a little bit scary, it's funny, it's action-packed, it's wholesome, it's a little romantic. Slice of life maybe too? So good, so well balanced. This is probably one of the best mangas out there right now from Shonen Jump. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm feeling it, man. Bzzz. Another day, another manga. Welcome to another exciting day of reading manga. Well, for me, anyway, it is exciting. But before I get stuck into it, I bought some breakfast. Gonna start off the day strong, guys. We've got chicken parmigiana. There is chicken in there, and there is cheese, tomato sauce, some sort of herbs. Is there anything else? No, I don't know. It looks pretty basic. It's like a pizza sandwich. And also for some dessert later on today, I got myself this is carrot cake. Yum yum. Oh, and what am I reading today? Blade of the Immortal Deluxe Edition Volume 2. But first, breakfast time. So I've spent most of the day editing this video, And just recently I had the chance to finish reading the second deluxe edition of Blade of the Immortal. So this story is about a young lady called Ren whose parents are brutally murdered, and then she seeks revenge on those people responsible for the murder by hiring this legendary samurai, the 100-man killer called Manji. He's kind of immortal, hence the title, Blade of the Immortal. Now, whereas the first volume was quite basic in its premise with a revenge tale, the second one shakes things up quite a lot by adding a whole bunch of different characters with different convictions and also fleshing out the villains and giving them multiple layers so they no longer kind of feel like villains. Whilst the first volume was good, the second one makes me realize, the creator is now cooking. Gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought the first one was alright. I didn't realize the second one would build up so much on it. Now I'm a bit hyped. Wow. To get the remainder of the volumes. I'll take my time. I know they're not cheap. I can recommend it, but just know this has a lot of adult themes. It's definitely not for the young ones. You've been warned. I can't believe it's been 25 days. I guess you could say time flies when you're reading manga. Today I feel like something dangerous. Maybe something gangster. Maybe a little bit of pew pew pew. Black Lagoon Volume 5. Check it. This is a super slick crime series that I've been loving. Love the anime. You guys probably know if you've been following the channel. And my first foray into the manga. So what is Black Lagoon about? Packed with gritty action, dark humor, and morally grey characters. Set in the crime-ridden city of Roanapur, it follows mercenaries navigating the underworld with explosive style. It's brutal. It's stylish. And surprisingly thoughtful beneath all of the gunfire. This is why I love it. It ticks so many boxes. I love this series. Oops. I love this series. This was straight up another banger of a volume. Everything just seems to be going right for it. Whether it's the art, the action, the character relationships, the world building, you name it. I love it. It's great. I don't have much time left in this challenge though. You know when you're doing your best to try to remember something? Well, it feels like that with me and Choujin X at the moment. I'm pretty sure I've read this volume, but I just can't remember it very well. That's what I'm gonna do today, guys. Choujin X. If you haven't read that, let me tell you what it's about. Choujin X is a dark fantasy manga by Sui Ishida. You know, the guy who did Tokyo Ghoul? I haven't read that either. It follows Tokyo Kurohara, a timid teenager who gains mysterious superpowers after injecting himself with a Choujin drug to protect his best friend. Thrust into a chaotic world of mutated superhumans, also known as Choujins, Tokyo struggles to control his monstrous new abilities while navigating moral dilemmas, rival factions, and a crumbling society. The series explores identity, power, and what it means to be human in a world teetering on the edge of collapse. You know what? I'm gonna catch up on the series in the next few days. So let's roll! It's all coming back to me now. This is pretty great. Yeah, we're still doing this bit. There's some sick character designs in this manga. Choujin X is really growing on me. Okay, one last time, my broskies. Okay, I think I milked the cow dry now. Volume 6, this is what I'm up to. What do I think? At first, I thought it was whack, and now I think it's whack, but cool. It's a story that keeps evolving. I don't know where it's going, and that's a good thing. I want more of this. I am gonna pick up the next volumes that are coming out. This story keeps going to interesting places. I like that the theme of horror is in here. It spices things up a little bit, as well as the superhero elements. Honestly, it has a lot going for itself. Is it gonna be an absolute treasure? Time will tell. I really hope so. I'm rooting. for Choujin X. 2 days to go, I'm really tired, I'm going to bed, but I need to read something awesome on my last day. So I went to a comic book store with my partner called Quality Comics, and it's been a while since I've been in a comic book store. We don't have many here in Perth. In fact, probably not that many in Australia. There is one called King's Comics in Sydney that I'd like to see. It's apparently quite impressive. But anyway, walking into this Quality Comics store today, what I saw in there was a bit of a surprise to see how much manga has taken over this store. It's about 50% of the store now is manga, which just shows how strong of a foothold it has on the comic book community now. So it's impressive. Manga is big, it's popular, many people love it, and I understand why. But they had this deal there where you can get 3 Viz tankobons for 39 Australian dollars. That equates to about 25 US dollars. I know it's probably not impressive with what kind of prices you get in the US, but here in Australia, we take what we can get. So if I saw some manga that I really wanted to get, I would pick that up. And I did just that. The first one is Slam Dunk Volume 2. This is a basketball manga I recently got introduced to. I picked up my first volume in Japan, in fact, and you know what? It's cool, it's funny. My partner, she doesn't like the main protagonist. She thinks he's the biggest goofball douche, and I can understand why, and I'm sure we'll get some character development where, you know, he becomes a lot cooler. She likes this guy here in the background. He's like the super cool, handsome dude that really doesn't say much. It's quite stoic. I can see why. He's a big hit with the ladies. Anyway, the second manga that I picked up that caught my eye was Dandadan. You know, I've been loving this a lot. And the final volume that I picked up was Chainsaw Man. Volume 17. Gosh, I love this story. I know some people have lost a little bit of hype after the first part, the first 11 volumes. I've been loving it all the way through. You know, I think the mangaka changes things up and he does that for a reason. I get it. You can't be hype all the time, otherwise hype just becomes boring. So I like that he's taken a different angle. He's taking us to places where I haven't been able to predict. Anyway, I'm not gonna ramble on Chainsaw Man too much, but I love it, man. Now, what am I reading today? I'm really tempted to read Chainsaw Man Volume 17. I'm gonna save that for another special occasion. I'm gonna read Sakamoto Days Volume 13. And for those that don't know what Sakamoto Days is, fast-paced action comedy manga about a retired hitman turned family man who keeps getting pulled back into the assassin world. Blends slick fights, sharp humor, and surprising heart. You know, if you think One Punch Man and probably something funny like Spy X Family, which I haven't read but people say it's funny, you'd probably get something like Sakamoto Days, which makes sense because it's quite family orientated and whatnot. So let's check it out. Yeah, it really doesn't take much. A few pages in and it's peak already. Once again, it's got me super hyped to find out what happens in the next volume, and I appreciate us diving into the past a lot in here. I want to see how we got to where we are at with Sakamoto Days in the present. So that leaves us with my final day of reading manga. Better be a good one. Dear manga gods, today is my final day of the 30-day reading challenge. Can you please grant me a manga so good I won't be able to put it down? A manga so good the artwork will eviscerate my soul. A manga so good the giggity meter will be spinning uncontrollably. Yours truly, Comic Casper, the guy who enjoys comics. It seems my prayers have been answered. Vagabond, I've heard many good things about it, and now it's time for me to finally experience this firsthand. As I read Vagabond, it became quickly apparent the artwork should not be capable of hitting this hard. And yet it does. Every single page, every single panel. From a visual perspective, this thing is perfect. Almost doesn't look like it was made by a human. Vagabond is a visually stunning and deeply philosophical manga that reimagines the life of legendary swordsman Miyamoto Musashi with breathtaking artwork by Takehiko Inoue. It explores the path of the warrior through introspective storytelling, brutal duels, and moments of quiet reflection, a masterful blend of action and depth. This was truly the perfect way to finish my 30-day manga reading challenge. And now let's find out how much manga did I actually read. 6 deluxe hardcovers, 2 omnibuses, and 32 tankobons. And altogether, it looks something like this. This is what I managed to read in roughly 60 hours spread between 30 days. But how many chapters was that? It was exactly 454 chapters, which works out to be 1 chapter every 8 minutes, which sounds really slow. This exercise absolutely crushed my unread manga pile. Bahaha. And now I'm off to read my unread comic pile. Bahaha. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.